What's going on, guys? This is Mr. TH66. I've been a while since I've done a movie review, but just, I'm back in it. This is my friend Chris.
Right, what's up?
He's been on the show before. We reviewed Underwater, right?
Underwater, yes. We did, yes.
And we saw Morbius on Friday, and boy, this is going to be a very interesting review. And let me preface by saying, I have liked comic book movies that not a lot of critics like because it's getting ripped apart. I liked Green Lantern was one I liked. I thought the critics were really hard on that one. I thought it was fun.
I didn't mind it, but I do see their point of view.
Yeah, I get it. But the Punisher movies, both of them, I liked both of those. They got ripped apart. Even Venom, I didn't think was off. I mean, it was a bad movie, but it had Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy was a lot of fun to watch. So,
very much.
It's a bad movie, but I think they got the character of Venom right after the shitfire that was Spider-Man 3.
Oh.
I was like, that's a lot better. I was like, that's much better.
Shitfire, excellent. I'm going to use that from now on.
But, so, with that said, we went and saw it on Friday.
We did.
And, this is one of the worst superhero films I have ever fucking seen. I am not kidding. There's been some critics who have said, it's not that bad. Yeah, I thought it was that bad. Chris?
I tell you, I didn't enjoy it. I guess I enjoyed TJ more, man. To tell you the truth, we were like feeding off of each other.
Oh yeah, we were talking like this is one of the comic book movies that I went, what? Like so many times during the movie I was like, huh? What? That just happened?
Yeah, and let's start off with, we've seen vampire movie after vampire movie.
Oh yeah, and I love vampire movies, but
and they're good. But how many times can you really? How can you tell a different story? You know, and with Marvel, it's never real. It's never like you're always surprised. Like, wow, that was fantastic.
Exactly. This is just studio mass-produced bullshit. We'll start at the beginning. The story makes absolutely no sense. There's so many points that I just was like, what? Like, I don't understand what just happened. Like, okay, we'll take the opening scene, for example, where he goes to a cave and, like, gets bats out or something. It's like, okay, so a whole bunch of bats swarm all out. And then later on in the film, we find out he's got a bunch of them captured. It's like, how did he capture the bats? Like,
that's right.
Like, is there a space in his house that can, like, that they sleep at night? Because he has like a tunnel through his house where the bats fly up, and I'm like, where are they sleeping? Like, I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Like, just weird.
Very choppy.
And there's another point after he kills a bunch of guys after he takes his serum. Yeah. We're not going to do plot synopsis because there really isn't much of a story here.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe that when I was watching it, and I think you can agree, we were almost. You could lead right into the next dialogue. You could tell what they were going to say.
Oh, the dialogue is awful. It's such cliche. There's lines like, "Oh, I don't want to see you get hurt," and just like, "This power is not. You don't deserve this power." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Which is typical.
This shit is that shit was cliched in the 90s. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Anyway, let's get back. So he kills a bunch of guys after he takes his first injection and becomes vampire guy. Okay, and then he's like, "Oh no, what's happened?" He's knocked out his like love interest doctor or whatever. I don't even know her goddamn name. I don't even care. So he calls them up and gets a ride. And you think, okay, he's gonna go back on the plane, No, he jumps off the boat.
Meanwhile,
why does he jump off the boat? That doesn't make any sense. What? I was like, I mean, I guess he's trying to protect this power because he thinks it's could be used for bad purposes. But his buddy who's funding the whole thing is that why would he not go to his friend and be like, "Yo, we got some problems here. I kind of killed some guys."
There was no use of resources.
God.
And honestly, it really did mirror the quality of, as you said when we stopped the movie, like a 90s, like a 90s comic,
mid 2000s, early 2000s. Like this has been on a lot of the reviews have said this, and it really is true. It does feel like a movie from like 2004,
just like
back
Ghost
when they.
Rider,
oh God! Even the first Ghost Rider at least had Ghost Rider in it.
Absolutely.
Like that was cool when Ghost Rider was on screen. It was awesome.
Right.
Everything else sucked, but
absolutely.
This doesn't even have that.
Right.
Can we talk about the CGI? Oh, whoa.
What did they even need human faces?
Oh
for,
my
man?
God! Every time he morphed into his vampire face, you heard me. I would start laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
It was so silly and so poorly. His friend, the main nemesis, his buddy. I can't remember I don't remember anyone's name. Oh, is that his name?
Milo? Yeah.
Milo. Okay. When he turns into vampire, it looks even worse. He looked like a zombie.
There had and the backstory to him too. I mean, I don't know. It really was very much a poor job. And I actually was asking TJ myself. I mean, it's a good thing that these guys get paid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They relied on them.
Can we talk about Tyrese? What was his fucking point in this movie? He plays a detective. He had no point in this movie. Like, you could have removed him and his buddy there. I don't even know the other actor's name.
You didn't even get the value of, it's Tyrese. It's just like, okay,
they're cops and they
Here's
run around.
Typical cops.
You could have removed them from the movie completely, and it would not have made any difference whatsoever.
That's right.
Like, you'd think maybe they would have a part in the third act, like maybe team up with them, do something like that. Nope. He does absolutely nothing.
Some drawback to years ago that was a hidden file in the cop shop. They could have referred to that. They didn't do anything.
Nothing.
Anything.
And the action scenes, let's talk about those. Probably one of the worst. This is the action scenes in the entire film.
Very slow-mo.
That's all it was.
With a trail of black shadow.
What was up? Yes. Every time they're fighting, there's this stupid mist around them. I don't know what was that. They don't explain any of it. It's just bullshit they just think of and that's cool, let's put it in there. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Very poor job at showing the speed of a vampire.
Yeah.
The tranquil mind of an otherworld being.
It was just 300 file. I'm like, that shit is 15 years ago. That shit is not hip anymore. Stop doing it. And he dodges a bullet Matrix style at one point, like that. Only reason I would have walked out, if I hadn't been with you, I would have walked out. But I'm not going to do that to my friend, of course. But I was like, if I had been by myself, I probably would have walked out. Are you kidding me?
I tell you what, man, I probably would have enjoyed that, a lot more. Because, again, I was feeding off of his reaction. And I was right on point with him. He was just acting out what I was feeling.
It's just, it's soulless. There's no character. The love interest, still the blandest, most boring character. Again, I don't even... Did you remember her name? Because I sure as hell didn't. No.
Nope. No, I didn't.
She's just love interest. The dialogue. Not only is the lines cliche, it's just such lazy exposition scenes. And it doesuld make any sense because he's talking to her. She's clearly been with him. She said she's been with him for 7 years.
That's right.
She would know all this shit. Why would he be talking to her about it?
That's right. And she had very little
Nothing.
to say. I mean, there was an "I love you." There was "Please don't, I love you."
Although she does have the biggest laugh of the movie for me. Michael Morbius is telling some kind of tragic story. I don't even remember what the hell it was, and she goes, "Sorry."
That's right.
That's her entire line. Right. I laughed out loud. I was like, "Really? Sorry."
You really felt. I mean, I feel like the acting too was
God, Jared Leto, who is a good actor.
He is.
He's so fucking boring in this movie. Partially it was the writing. His character just had nothing. There was nothing to latch onto.
That's right. There was even a point too where they had to oversell the villain. Of course, Milo.
Who's an idiot. He's getting a lot of good reviews, even from people who hate the movie.
Yeah.
To each their own. I thought he was an idiot. I thought he was an absolute so unthreatening. He's a cartoon. The dance sequence. Can we talk about the dance sequence?
That's what I was getting at.
There's a part where all of a sudden he's just dancing in his room, all sexy
Trying on different clothes.
I sat there
big with the CGI vampire face.
I sat there. I was like, what? Yeah. I looked over at him after we're over. I was like, what was that?
Huh?
What was that?
What's happening?
I don't understand.
Yeah. Like I said, we could have wrote the movie ourselves. I mean,
we probably do a better job with the dialogue.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
the direction was non-existent. There was no.
Give it a shot.
There was.
You want to be Morbius or should I?
No. the direction too was it was direction. It had no style. It had no tone. The set designs were flat and bland to look at. It was just there was nothing. This movie was only 90 minutes and it felt like 3 hours. It felt longer than the Batman.
That's right.
God.
Right. Now, are we gonna do spoilers? Or are we gonna do?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do spoilers. I think we already have done some, but what?
Spoilers.
I mean, because they fucking spoiled it in the goddamn trailers. Yeah, Michael Keaton's in the movie.
Yes,
and it might be the worst post-credit scene I've ever fucking seen in my entire life.
They said
the
it
first
was an
one,
eye roller.
The first one, he just like appears in a cell.
That's right.
Let's
go back to the beginning. All right. So to the beginning of the end. Now, even when did you notice like the break of dimension? I don't know if you go back and look at Marvel's when their dimensions start splitting open. Mm-hmm. Look at the detail, the art detail.
Oh yeah.
When it opened up, what was surrounding the crack, what was in the crack.
I think I've seen this, but okay, I'll take your word for it. It's pretty good.
So it was so bland. It was just okay. There was a black screen, and then they split it open with a glass crack of the purple. You know what I mean? Of course, it had to be different for copyright purposes. Mm-hmm. But that was it. So it was like, okay, here we are, the dimension opening, and all of a sudden you got this flash of Michael Keaton transferring from one jail to the other. Oh. All right. Yeah. Keaton looked, he looked young, he looked fresh. Okay, but he was the same Keaton. He wasn't a variant. He was the same one.
Yeah.
So he said, "Hope the food's better in this jail," which is fine. But
I mean, that one was stupid. The second one was even stupider because he shows up in his full Vulture outfit. Where did he get the?
How did he break out of jail?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I think they let him out. I think they show that he was on the news or something because he probably didn't commit any crimes in this reality, so they had no reason to keep him. I kind of figured that out.
Kind of desperate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how did he get his costume? Where did he get his costume?
That's supposed to be made of like Chitauri, like from the Avengers, made of Chitauri like tech and stuff like that. Where would he get that here? Again, lazy writing. Who cares? Like the audience are morons. They'll buy anything. It's like no, we don't. We've seen better superhero movies. I mean, you compare this to the Batman. Oh my God!
There was so many references to other movies.
Oh
to the Batman. I mean, what about the fucking excuse my language? The bat infestation at the end to aid him.
Oh God, that made no sense too. It just comes out of nowhere. He just suddenly can control bats. I'm like.
Wait, he let them out of the cage?
Yeah, how did they get...
What happened?
Well, I think they're supposed to be wild bats.
This was down in a subway, by the way.
Yeah, I'm like, is there a lot of bats in New York? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe there is. Like, where are these bats coming from?
That was quite a lot. And then, first of all...
It's not set up. It's not even set up at all throughout the entire film. There's no reference to him being able to control... Trying to figure out how to control bats. Put that scene in.
That's right.
Like, have him be like, okay, I'm trying to develop this power so it makes sense. It just comes again. They just pull it out of their ass and be like, oh, that's a cool ending.
Here's something what I was really looking forward to bringing up because TJ made very good, reference to it. And why did they not use? What'd you say about? They said bat radar. Bat radar. They said
he calls it bat radar. Right. You mean sonar?
Why can't we say sonar?
Bat radar. It sounds like something a 10-year-old would come up with. Here's bat radar.
That's right. But again, even using that too. I mean, you got the whole idea with the 2 seconds, 3 seconds that they showed you in the trailer. Then they elaborated even more to about a 3-minute scene of I could hear outside of walls and I could hear it all the way across the city. It was actually typically in a hero movie or anti-whatever, they try to broaden their powers. They try to see what they're all about. This dude, in one scene, remember, we both held our hands up like, what? Why didn't he fly off the building? Why didn't he try to fly off the building?
Oh, you mean the scene where like he's on a rooftop and all of a sudden he gets blown back for some... I still don't understand what happened. I don't know what happened.
I'm trying to
He just gets blown back by some unknown power and
I'm wondering if maybe it was his hesitation on whether he could do that or not, but at the same time, you would typically go for it.
I guess he's blown backwards though. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. And then stopped.
Yeah. And then can we talk about the ending too?
Yes.
This movie has no ending. It just stops.
Yeah.
That I looked at him and was like,
is that
that's the end? It just there is no ending. It just fucking stops.
That's it. That was done.
I mean, I'm talking about the ending of the movie before the end credit scene. Yeah,
yes.
where he's flying around with a bunch of bats and think. I'm like
done. And you know, there were scenes that were actually, this movie was, I don't know, I think it was somewhere around like 9. How many minutes?
90? Not much. 90, maybe 90 a little over 90. Something.
It could have been cut down to like at least, I would think, 86 minutes with the amount of time that they drew scenes out. They very much exaggerated scenes. There was a scene where his girlfriend was laid out for bait, you know, by Milo, of course, to attract Morbius.
Of course.
And he set out his radar, okay, his bat radar, and we saw that. And then all of a sudden we saw where he was honing in on, which was her on top of a building.
Yeah.
After that, it was just him floating for
flying. I guess they were flying
30 seconds at least.
Yeah, it was like the CGI and the CGI looked atrocious.
Right.
Like, I mean, this movie only had a $75 million budget, and you know, and that doesn't always mean a bad thing, you know.
Right.
When you have low budgets, you have to be more creative, but you have to have a good director. And this, I don't even know what the director's name. I can't think of it.
I just was reading it yesterday.
Yeah, he's done a couple studio. He's basically
DW is.
Yeah, he's basically a studio. I'm sure he's a nice guy, and it's nothing personal, but he's clearly a studio bitch boy that just does whatever they want. Like, okay, yep, make it as generic as possible. Don't try anything too much, because
I had read something yesterday that, you know, of course it didn't receive well, but he was doing an interview with the interviewer, and the obvious question was, you know, how do you feel about the audience, you know, receiving your movie in a negative way? And he had said, I have enough self-hatred as it is.
I saw that too, actually. Yeah, I saw that article. Yeah.
Poor guy, you know. I mean,
you know, again, nothing personal. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's a drone. He's a studio.
Yeah.
Oh, what really blows my mind is on Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has like a 16%. The audience score is 70%. What? I don't understand. Yeah, I don't get it. Wow. I don't understand. The only thing I can think is Sony has like a bunch of plants or something in there. They're purposely trying to, you know, give it good ratings, because I cannot understand it. You know, I don't get it.
It was it was quite it wasn't good, guys. But,
yeah.
You know, and again, this is us. Like, you actually probably are like, man, these guys got to get over with. This is horrible, you know, down slow. But it truly wasn't down slow.
I mean, if I had the top 10 worst superhero films, I mean, there are worse, but I'd put it maybe at number 10 or something like that. It was bad. I'd never want to watch this movie again. And they're trying to set up their bullshit Sinister Six movie, which I could give two shits about.
I want to refer back to the comic lore on that, because I don't recall Morbius. He was always like by himself.
I think so. I mean, I knew of the character before the movie.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I think he was kind of more of an anti-hero. I could be wrong. If comic fans, you know, fill us in.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
But, so was there anything positive about the film that you could think of? We'll get to that now.
Boy, I'm going to sit here for a few minutes. I'm going to waste your
You
video.
did laugh at a couple of the jokes, like intentionally laughed. I heard you laugh, so maybe that.
Yeah, well, I mean, for instance, you know, when they made references to other movies or even other characters. That Batman or the Bat deal, that was a Batman movie, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad when the best thing you can think of is references to other movies.
Right. I mean, but there was a part where you know, he was, of course, he had that hunger, you know, he had to have.
Which is barely. It's not even really elaborated on very much. There's a scene where there's a part where he makes up an antidote that he's going to use on the villain to, like, basically kill him, and he makes a second dose for himself. I'm like, okay, that's a cool idea. The hero wants to commit suicide. I was like, that's interesting. Never brought up again. It's completely cut out of the movie. Like, it's not referenced. There's no real. There's no real character arc with his movie. I mean, I guess flying with the bats is kind of a character arc, but it's not really a very good one. But so you would say the references to other movies was your favorite part.
Like, I guess so. It's kind of like
all.
when he was sitting there at the diner. I mean, I could have wrote that through. The guy's like, "Oh, I'm hungry.
The
you
gore.
wouldn't like me," and it's like, "Okay,
Oh,
here comes
that
the Hulk,
stupid
you know?
Hulk! I nearly freaking threw something at the screen. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" We have to discuss the lack of gore because it really hurts this movie a bunch. You can't make a vampire movie without blood. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you,
no.
The first scene when he changed and he went after those guys, you felt the vicious approach, you felt the brutality, but without that, when he was swinging at people, when they made him look cool as far as his nails, like, okay, that's awesome, CGI of course, but when you're swinging at somebody and you're taking pretty much their head off, I mean, you gotta show some kind of opening.
There's a scene where he slashes the guy's throat. The guy goes like this. And we're really expected to believe that no blood comes out just because he's holding it. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure if you get sliced in the neck,
that's right.
A few feet, it's going to hit an artery and you're going to start to bleed. Like, it's not going to be really held in. Like, I literally laughed. I was like, really? Even in the opening scene where he cuts his hand to, like, attract the bats, the blood goes...
There's been more blood than that.
Yes! The blood goes, it goes like this, and it stops. It just stops. I'm like, blood does not stop. It would keep oozing down your hand. It would, no.
Absolutely.
You cut your hand. Like...
And first of all, let's go back to that. That's funny. Now, would they have eventually, like, ate him? Or like, attacked him?
The bats?
Because why didn't they attack him? And don't tell me
he was
because of those simple wires.
Yeah, he was still a human at that point.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know why. Yeah.
I just thought
why did the bats not attack him? Huh?
And meanwhile, these other guys who had brought him to that cave with this, big awesome helicopter, I mean, they hopped into that helicopter quicker than shit. Because they knew what the deal was.
Here's another plot point. Okay, in the movie, he basically has made artificial blood, which is blue, which is like, why is it blue?
Unicorn blue.
Like, okay, and this is like a standard in hospitals now. Like, it's in every hospital probably throughout the world. Wouldn't that make him like a billionaire?
I would say.
I mean, it doesn't seem like he's that rich. Like, you'd think, and he has to go through his friend to get funding. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, if you create artificial blood, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be a rich man after that.
Okay,
like,
now
why would
something else up.
Yeah.
How about that? That's when Tyrese stepped in for his 1.5 seconds. When they had caught him at the entrance and the exit, whatever, to the building, he was trying to get out. He had his hood up, and they had to say, "Excuse me, can we question you for a second?"
Yeah, okay.
Well, he had said, thank you, Mr. Morbius, Dr. Morbius. Your
blood saved my life,
and my arm, or what? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only real reference they made.
Yeah,
to
but
it
it
was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, I don't understand why he needed his friend for funding. Yes. It doesn't make any sense. Like, he would be so rich. I mean, maybe not Jeff Bezos rich, but still pretty damn wealthy. Like,
making artificial blood.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
But anyway, okay, I will do my things I liked about the movie. It was short. It was less than 90 minutes. It didn't, although it felt like 3 hours.
It did.
I laughed a couple times at some of the special effects. I'm not supposed to be laughing, but I cracked up laughing. It's every time he transformed, I could not keep it to myself. I just started laughing.
That's right. And then TJ'd be like, looking over to the people on the left just to make sure, they were all, what the fuck, I mean, we had a good time. It's too bad we didn't have
I didn't have a good time. I mean, I had a horrible time. Some of the reactions were fun to do, but that I did, but other than that,
it was a good idea. I sat one seat away from you because the what?
Oh yeah, I was.
Well,
dude, I have never.
Cool, though.
I have never seen a superhero film that had more what moments in my. It's just
I'll
like,
tell you
what?
Man. Yeah.
Huh?
Big time.
Is this real? This is the choice they. Oh.
Sony's holding on to something that they think they're gonna.
Fuck Sony! I don't give a shit about their stupid Sinister Six movie.
Right?
You've lost me. You've lost me. I'm sorry. Yeah, yes.
Sell the
Marvel needs or Disney just buy the rights back, please.
I mean, we know the history. I think they bought Spider-Man for what, like $3 million?
Back in like the 90s,
right?
Yeah.
Right. And honestly, great move. You know what I mean? But you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, please.
And you know what? What really sucks is the trade-off thing that they do between Marvel and Sony. Like, obviously Marvel knows what they're doing. Actually, let's take a reference here. Jordan Bro, if you're out there, if you ever watch this, hey man, he was part of the Marvel universe at one point too, man. What do you think, man? Let's hear what you have to say.
Indeed.
All right, to see this. But anyway,
let's wrap this up. Let's do a rating. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go 1.5 because it was short, and I did laugh a couple times, but not supposed to. But I did. That was the only enjoyment I got out of this movie. This movie sucks. I hate it. Hopefully it bombs so they don't do anymore. Chris?
I'll give it a 1.
1? Okay, yeah. We're pretty much on the same page here. So, yeah,
don't. Doesn't is that gonna go ahead and is it gonna add to the positivity or so-called positivity that it's gotten this movie? You know what I mean? Like when we're out there, we're nobody. Okay, fine. We're just doing our little review here, but
of course,
I gave it a 1. He gave it a 1.5. That's a total of 2.5. Please don't. That's not a good thing. Please,
no.
Don't add that to the 17% rating that it's
got. Oh, no, this doesn't go on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes,
anyway, all right, so that about wraps it up. Chris, wonderful to see you. Sorry we had to talk about this piece of shit movie.
We'll be back.
Indeed. But anyway, that's all the time we have for today. I am Mr. Teej66. This is Chris, and we'll see you next time.
Later.